As the world celebrates the World Press Day, media practitioners and stakeholders and shareholders in the media industry have today been urged to use World Press Day as an opportunity to put a strong focus on freedom of expression within the overall rights agenda. Speaking when marking the World Press Freedom Day 2023, Professor David Omoyo, the Principal Secretary, State Department of Telecommunication and Broadcasting, said the government is committed to its role in the protection of the media. Let's take a look.
Media practitioners and stakeholders came together today for the annual Media Summit, which was marked through discussions on different aspects affecting the industry. Speaking during the commemoration of the World Press Freedom Day 2023, Professor David Omoyo, the Principal Secretary, State Department of Telecommunication and Broadcasting, said the government is committed to its role in protection of the media.
As the government of Kenya, we recognize journalists as critical and integral players in the sustainable human development agenda. We are committed to our role as duty bearers in protection of freedom of the media.
It is the work of each and every one of us to stand their ground and protect that journalistic space. At any one time, you will see different attempts, whichever way they will come. Anybody, whichever position you hold in the media space, must stand up and protect that press freedom, and mostly what we call in that space editorial discretion, that you will not dictate to an editor what they have to do. As long as it's accurate information, as long as it's information that is good for public consumption, we must let editors do that work and protect their freedom to do it.
With the theme of this year's summits being Shaping a Future of Rights, freedom of expression as a driver for all other human rights, the president of the Kenya Editors Guild, Zubeida Kananu Koome, noted that media freedom is increasingly under threat.
On digital platforms, enemies of freedom of expression have been unrelenting in their attacks on journalists and media houses. Sources of threat to journalists are well known. We call for an immediate stop to these violations. Journalists must be allowed to exercise their constitutional right to do their professional work.
UNESCO has also sounded the alarm on the worrying decline of press freedom levels around the world, confirming that 85% of the world's population experienced a decline. While Kenya's position in the global World Press Freedom Rankings improved from 103 in 2021 to 69 in 2022, the country experienced the highest violations against media and journalists in 2022.
Without a free flow of information and trusted media, we cannot build transparent institutions and uphold democracies, as most cases of wrongdoing, corruption, and human rights violations will remain hidden.
Practically, it also means that the EU is publicly condemning any killing, attack, or torture or enforced disappearance of any person exercising their right to freedom of expression.
In line with this commemoration, Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has called for a review on the Kenyan journalists' pay for them to perform effectively. Kindiki, through a press statement, said Kenyan journalists deserve better remuneration commensurate with their day's work and the country's high cost of living. He pointed out that the media has faced increased disruption from the effects of COVID-19, which ravaged global economies and led to the loss of lives and livelihoods. According to Kindiki, this disruption has led to journalists across the country losing their jobs, with the media companies downsizing their human capital and even slashing earnings of journalists. Furthermore, Kindiki emphasized the need for self-regulation and accreditation of journalists to combat the risk of quacks posing as journalists. He, however, reiterated the government's commitment to working with all media players to protect the freedom and integrity of the media in Kenya.